My name is Tyler from MaxX Design. So right here we have just concrete, and let me just pour it out here. Hopefully you can see it. I don't know if you can. But this concrete mix comes in a bag just like this. You can buy this down at your regular Home Depot store, your Ace Building Center. Not difficult to find. Here's the key when you're going to buy concrete mix that already has the Portland in it, so it has all the ingredients that you need. You need to find the mix with the smallest stones. So these particular stones are like 3/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch. You don't want the mix that has big massive stones in it. Smaller the stones, the better it is. First of all, it's easier to work with. Second of all, it gives the pad more strength. This particular concrete, and most concretes in a bag are somewhere between 5,000 and 3,000 psi. So the concrete that we're using starts out to be 3,000 psi concrete. That's how it's measured in strength. So obviously the higher the number, the stronger your concrete. And that's what you want when you're building a countertop. So when we add, for example, these two different additives that we sell on our website, we take a 3,000 psi concrete bag that you buy down at the local store, and we take it up to 10,000 psi. That's what we want. So that strength will make the concrete more dense. That means if something's more dense, it's harder to penetrate through it. So that means stains are going to be harder. They're going to stop at the surface if we can make the concrete surface dense. So as I mentioned, this is 3,000 psi concrete, and you can buy that down at the store. The things that you can't buy are these concrete additives that we add to every single countertop that we use here. And you can go and take a look at the website and order these additives. This is water reducer. It sort of looks like motor oil, but we're not selling motor oil. But we do have this product as well on our website. You'll be able to see when we start mixing concrete, we'll show you exactly when we add this product, what happens to the concrete. And the reason we need to add this product to the concrete is because when we start mixing concrete, it's sort of a science. And we have to be able to control the water. So we don't simply just put a bag of concrete in and turn the garden hose on. That's not the way we mix concrete, because we could get too much water, which reduces the strength, which reduces the density of your concrete pad. So what we need to remember, first of all, when it comes to water and mixing concrete, is 25 pounds of concrete. So if this bag weighed 25 pounds, you would only put in 10% water, which would be 2.5 pounds of water. And then at the very end, you start adding your water reducer, because you might say, wow, it's too stiff to work with. But the water reducer, as you'll see when we start mixing the concrete, will eliminate that problem. When it comes to colors with concrete, it's sort of endless. I'll show you a couple colors. This one obviously is a black. So depending on the amount of colorant you put into your mix, and we'll, if you order from us, we'll show you exactly how much it takes to sort of get this color. So when we're looking at this black color, that is actually the same colorant as this one, and hopefully you can see the difference. This is a graphite gray, but again, the ratios change to give you the different colors. And then obviously, if you don't like the black tones or the gray tones, you can go to many other colors. Here's an example of one of those. I believe this is a terracotta color, and just depending on what you like. But there's all kinds of choices and colors that you can order online from us and find the color that you like the most. So you'll see that we're just about to start mixing the concrete, and just some reminders that'll make your life a little easier. Wear some gloves. It's very, very dirty. It'll protect your hands and make life easier when you go to clean up after as well. We're using 4 or 25 kg bags. 4 of them will fit into one of these pails. So 4 bags times 25 kgs, that's 100 kgs. How much water do we need? Remember, it's always 10%. So 10 kgs of liquid we need for the concrete. No more. We don't want water in the concrete. Remember, it affects the strength and the density of the concrete. So that's always important to remember. So we've put the additive as well into these. If you do want the additives, they will be in this type of a can that comes to you, and it'll be labeled exactly how much you need to use, and that'll make making your countertop and mixing very, very simple. So as I mentioned, everything's done here, everything's measured out, and the additives have been added. The black dye is in one of them already, so we're going to get starting to mix this. We have 10% water in this mix, and you can see how compressed that concrete is. You can make a nice solid ball out of it, and that's what we want. Now you're going to be able to see what the water reducer does. So now we're going to just stir that up a little bit. So we've just finished mixing, and I'm sure you're tired by now, but when you take a look at this, before we had it into a nice tight ball, it won't go, it won't stand up, it has a slump in it. So we've already started laying the concrete here. So just remember, you just want to get the first layer of concrete, the part that's actually going to be the surface of the countertop, about a ½ inch thick. Then you have your mat here. You don't want it to go to the front, because if this mat is sticking out to the very front, you'll see it. You don't. You just hold it back about 3/4 of an inch. Doesn't matter along the back here. You take your trowel, you just simply, it almost basically disappears into the concrete. Concrete wraps around all those square holes. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we have the back concrete, the stuff that's going to be facing the back of the pad, and it's basically the filler concrete that gives the pad strength. And so what we're going to do is we're going to be adding that glass fiber that we talked about, and just to give you another little look at what it looks like this, a bunch of little glass fibers. So we just take about a handful of this, and we're going to have to mix this to consistency. So start out with a handful, one handful, mix it into your mix. So we've already compressed this white mat into that first ½ inch layer. You can't even see it in the concrete. We built up along the edges with the non-glass concrete. So that would be the concrete that we didn't add the glass fiber to. We built up that about a ½ inch, 3/4 all the way along the edge, because you don't want that glass fiber coming through the front or through the face. So what we're going to do next is get the reinforcement, the steel reinforcement in here, and then start putting in our glass concrete to give the pad strength. So as you can see, we've already put the metal down. This mesh here in the back and in the front of the sink, and the block lock here on the ends, and on that little L piece. So we're ready to go. We're going to fill her up with concrete. So all we're doing right now is just filling up this pad. So what we're doing here is we're using an air-powered derby. Usually you would use a wood derby if you don't have one of these. We showed that on our first video. So anyways, you'll be able to see how this levels this out very, very nicely without a tremendous amount of effort. So we'll just keep making a pass right through here. So now we're just putting the red mat on here. We've flattened it out, vibrated it. Pull it down your way a little bit. Where are we here? Right here. You just simply trowel this black mat, or this red mat, sorry, into the patch.